Hello, my crafty friends. Well, today I have some easy fun fold card ideas that I want to share with you that feature a brand new product collection. Hi, it's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. In this episode of Stamptastic TV, I have a new fun fold idea called the London Bridge Fun Fold, and I have two different ways that you can use this fun fold in your card making. Now, the cards in this video feature a brand new collection of products called the Waves of the Ocean, and I'm going to be using the Waves of Inspiration. It is the stamp set that is included in this product collection. And I will also be using the wave dies, which of course coordinate with the stamp set in this collection. So besides the beautiful Waves of Inspiration stamp set and the die set, this new product collection also includes some new designer series paper with just some really gorgeous patterns. It also includes some beautiful foil papers in like a dark blue and then like a coastal cabana and some silver. And then of course there are some little jewels that you can use, some rhinestone jewels in a variety of different colors that coordinate with this designer paper. You can learn more about the Waves of the Ocean collection by clicking on the link featured in the description below this video. So this is what the London Bridge Fun Fold looks like. So we're going to create this little bridge across the card front, and I'm going to show you how to do that. It's very simple, and then it has this little kind of pop-up section in the center. And so we will create both of these cards, one in portrait and one in landscape style. So let's get started. Okay, so for the first card idea, we're going to focus on the landscape style. So this is what the London Bridge card looks like in landscape. Now, I didn't put any greetings on here yet because I actually haven't decided what I wanted to do. But I just really like how this looks. It just looks like a little scene that you would see at the beach. So I think that's why I was having a hard time deciding what to put on it. All right, so let me show you how to create this card. Okay, so you're going to start with a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of cardstock. I'm using white cardstock for my cards. And then you're just going to score the center at 4.25 inches. So you're just going to be creating like a regular style card. And then what we're going to do is in the front of our card, we're going to cut 2 strips, and we're only going to cut up to our score line. So we're going to cut them at 1.25 inches. So I just line this up at 1.25 inches, and I bring my paper trimmer up here, my little blade, right up to the score line. So I created like a little flap there. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we'll just place this back in there. I have it lined up at 1.25 inches. And I'm just going to cut all the way up to this score line. Okay, so this is what the front of your card should look like. So you'll have this 1/4 inch section on each side of the card. So we'll just fold this. So before we add our little bridge section on the bottom here, we're going to add some designer paper to each of these flaps. So I just cut 2 pieces of designer paper at 1 by 4 inches. And so each of these will just get adhered to each of those flaps. And you're just going to leave like a 1/4 inch matting around each of the pieces, so you're not going to adhere them directly to the edge of your card base. Okay, so that's what our card looks like so far. And then you're going to cut a 1.25 by 5.5 inch piece of white cardstock. And this is going to go across the bottom here. Now that we have our designer paper on, we're going to adhere this across the bottom to create our little bridge. So you only want to add glue to each of these smaller panels. You don't want any glue on this panel in the center. So I just add a little bit of glue on each side. So I'm just going to turn my card to the side so I can see it. So we'll add this right across the bottom. And again, you just want glue on the sides that have the designer paper. That's it. Okay, so now that we have our bridge on here, you can kind of see what it looks like on the inside. It just kind of goes all the way across, creates this like a little window. And we're gonna decorate this section so that you can see it through this window. So that's what that looks like. So the next thing I did is just cut a 1 by 5 1/4 inch piece of designer paper. So I chose the, kind of the blue colored paper so it looks like water. And we'll put that across our bridge just to decorate the front of the card. Next, I cut a 2 3/4 by 4 inch piece of one of the yellow pattern papers. And so this is gonna go on the inside, and this is gonna be my backdrop for all the little stamped images and things that I'm gonna put on here to create my little scene, my little ocean scene. So we'll add that. And so you can see that through the front of the card. All right, so the next thing I did is just created some little embellishments, some little things that I can add to my card to create my little scene. So I just used one of the images from the Waves of Inspiration stamp set. And there's a coordinating die that you can use to cut this out. So I'm gonna actually decorate my card in this position so that I can see kind of where to adhere everything. So it's just kind of peeking through the front. And then I have 2 little cloud images that I just overlapped together, and I'm gonna pop them up here on the card with a couple dimensionals. And then I'm gonna use some basic gray ink, and I'm just gonna use one of the little bird images here from the set, and I'm just going to add this. So for this, I'm just gonna open up the card a little bit so I can hang on to this piece. So I'm just gonna add one and add the other. So now you just have a really beautiful scene. And you can add a greeting or a sentiment on the front. I did stamp out a little happy birthday using one of the tag dies from this set. So I probably adhere this, but I haven't quite decided yet because there's a lot of different fun sentiments and greetings in this set. So, but just to give you an idea of how it looks, I just wanted to show you what it looks like with this on the front. So this space is a really great place to put your greeting or your sentiment. All right, so then we'll open it up. And here's what it looks like on the inside. So on the inside, I just cut a 1 by 2 3/4 inch piece of basic gray cardstock, and then I did some paper tearing. I just tore this in half. So I used 1 on the sample card that I have here. And this is the other piece that I'm gonna add over here. So I'm just gonna add some dimensionals kind of right around my little bird here. So I don't wanna add dimensionals directly on this piece because I already have that popped up, which is why I added a dimensional here, and the rest of the dimensionals are here. I added just a little bit of liquid glue, and there we go. Then we have a cute little scene for the inside. And then the last thing I did is I just cut a 1 by 5 1/2 inch piece of designer paper. So this is the same paper that I used on the front of the card. And this is just gonna go right across the bottom. And that way, when you open this up, it just kind of gives that illusion of water kind of in the background. Plus, you have plenty of room here to either stamp a sentiment or write a personalized message. All right, so that is what the card looks like in landscape style. Okay, the second way that you can use this fun fold in your card making is to just do it in portrait style. So simply by changing the orientation from landscape to portrait, it just gives your card a whole new look. So let me show you how to create this one. So this time you're gonna start with a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of cardstock. So I'm using white cardstock. And then you're going to score it in the center at 5.5 inches. And this time I put it in my paper trimmer. And you can see I've already cut this. These are 1 inch wide strips. So you're just going to line it up at the 1 inch mark and just make a cut up to that score line, just like we did with the landscape style. So I'm just going to fold these all over. So you will end up with 1 inch sections on each side of your card front, and then you'll have this 2¼ inch section in the middle. Okay, so we'll again start by decorating our panels. So I have a 3/4 by 5¼ inch piece that I'm putting on the panel. So these panels are 1 inch, and then our little pieces are 3/4 by 5¼ inch. So next you will cut your little bridge for the bottom. So this piece is 1¼ by 4¼ inches. So I decided to leave it the same width as the previous card I shared with you. So we're going to add just a little bit of glue to each side. And then I'm going to turn my card. And you want to kind of push these pieces together a little bit. And then go ahead and adhere the bridge. So there you go. So now we have our little bridge, and then we have this nice little window that we can decorate. Next, I cut a 1 by 4 inch piece of designer paper, and this is just going to go right on our little bridge down here on the bottom. Then I cut a 2 by 5¼ inch piece of that yellow paper, and so we are going to adhere this on this section, that middle section, our window section of the card. So this is 2 by 5¼ inches. And now we are ready to decorate our card. So this is what it looks like decorated. Okay, so for this card, because we have such a big window here, I decided to decorate from the inside out. So I'm gonna open up this card so you can see what it looks like. So the first thing I did is just cut a this is 2 inches long and it's only 1 inch wide. And I'm gonna add this little piece to the bottom of this yellow paper. So we'll just add that. The next thing I did is just cut a 1 by 4¼ inch piece of the same pattern. So this one is actually gonna go underneath here. And we are going to kind of line it up with our piece. I gotta bring it down a little bit. We're gonna line it up with this piece so that it looks like one continuous piece. So that's the inside of the card, and this will help guide us on placement for some of these other pieces. So the next thing I did is I just stamped another one of these images. And this we're gonna pop up right on our card front here. And then I cut a 2 by 1 inch piece of basic gray cardstock. And so I'm just doing a little bit of paper tearing here, just to create this little decorative piece for the bottom. So we'll just pop this up with a couple dimensionals. And this just kind of adds just a little finishing touch to the bottom of this image, so it doesn't look like the bird is just kind of hanging out there on a post in midair. And then I just cut out some more clouds using that die from this set, so we'll just add these up here. Okay, then you can go ahead and add your little birds, and you have just a really beautiful card. So it's the exact same style that I showed you with the landscape style. The only difference is I changed the orientation and just changed the measurements of my side panels. But it's really a gorgeous card, and that's what it looks like on the inside. So there's plenty of room to write a message or stamp a little sentiment. Okay, so there you go. Now you have 2 different ways that you can use this London Bridge fun fold card idea in your card making. And if you enjoyed these card ideas, feel free to download the printable tutorial. You can find the link in the description below this video. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know by liking it and sharing it with your friends. And leave me a comment below to let me know what you enjoyed most about the video and the cards shared here today. Have a fun and creative day, my friends. Take care.